Hello. So I have been on YouTube lately, and my reason for being so, although I guess I'm on there pretty much all the time, uh, was I believed I had ADD, and uh, I was just listening to people who described, uh, who were diagnosed, who described their symptoms and everything, and I was noticing that everything they were saying uh, applied to me like pretty much perfectly. If anybody's watching this video who thinks they have it, um, I would say a few examples would be a few of my examples. I'm not a medical professional. Are just inability to stay focused on pretty much anything, getting easily distracted, fidgeting a lot. Um, for me, it was just constantly tapping my leg like I'm doing now. That's why the camera's shaking. Um, uh, if you were one of those kids in school who got in trouble for talking a lot, if you were one of those kids in school who said, whose teacher said that oh, he's a smart kid, but he just doesn't apply himself. Um, Trying to think of a few more examples. It's quite a few. If you hear a name and it just goes in one ear and out the other, that's another one. If you're disorganized, and this one is huge. If you're impulsive, and this one is kind of tricky, and it has to do with being impulsive. If you've had problems with substance use before, it's typically a sign of ADD also. This isn't to say everybody who has substance abuse issues has ADD, obviously. But they found that people who had ADD in some study, 50% of them had alcohol dependency issues, and that's just alcohol. That's not harder drugs. So the two are pretty correlated. Okay, so I became increasingly convinced because basically all the symptoms I just mentioned I had. Um, so I went to see a psychiatrist, and I basically described all this. I was completely honest. Um, I had a good psychiatrist, so like mentioning things like substance abuse or insomnia, which usually I don't know about usually, but sometimes when you mention those things, doctors get a little skittish. Uh, I had a doctor who just was pretty good about listening to me and what I thought. So, what happened was he prescribed me 10 milligrams of Ritalin twice daily, and so far, the first day I really didn't feel anything, to be honest. Um, Truth time. When I was in college, I had tried Adderall once, and it made me feel very sharp. It made me feel euphoric. It made me feel talkative, and I could sit and do something with just the concentration. Just calling it massive concentration isn't even the correct terminology. Just with zeal. Like I could have sat down and like read a book and like totally recalled everything that happened in like a day. Ritalin is quite different in my experience. Uh, so, oh, and that or all kept me up like all night. Uh, the Ritalin, on the other hand, I definitely have noticed it's a smaller, it's way smaller and effect on my focus, but it is definitely something that is noticeable. I am able to focus better. I am able to plan better, and I only got this medication like 2 days ago, so these effects might be more pronounced with time. And um, generally, I'd say it pretty much works. Honestly, um, the only gripe I have with it is it really doesn't last that long, and when it like stops working, I feel a massive crash. In fact, right now, like I feel very tired. Um, so next time I see my doctor, I might bring that up, see if that's normal. Basically, just gonna do a like check in every once in a while, say how my experience is going, because like what set me down this, that made me realize I had this, is seeing other people's YouTube videos, quite honestly. So I thought, if one person sees this, maybe maybe I'll have helped somebody. All right. So that is day 2 of Ritalin, 10 milligrams twice daily. I'll let you guys know how things go and if anything changes.